Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be discussing the differences between Trollhunters and Trollhunters Tales of Arcadia. Some of you might not know, but Trollhunters Tales of Arcadia was actually based off of the book Trollhunters. So there's some differences between the two, and I want to share them with you because I found it really interesting when I read it. Without further ado, let's get started with this video. Alrighty, so I broke this up in two parts. We're going to describe the storyline and then the characters' differences between the two Trollhunters. Anyway, so in the Trollhunters book, the story kind of follows Jim. Just like in the show, it shows Jim becoming the Trollhunter and trying to manage both lives. Anyways, but in the book, however, Jim doesn't get the magical suit of armor. In the book, the amulet actually helps Jim understand the trolls. In the show, the trolls speak English. There is still Trollish in the show's story, but in the book, that's all the trolls speak is their own language, is Trollish. So the way Jim gets to understand them is with the amulet. So the amulet doesn't grant him special magical armor like in the show. Instead, it gives him the ability to understand what the trolls are saying. Also, in the show, Jim lives with his mother and his mom is there with him. In the book, however, Jim lives with his father. In the book, Jim's mother is the one that leaves after Jim's father loses his mind, pretty much. He goes completely crazy after his brother disappeared when they were kids. He was taken by trolls, which you later find out in the book, and that is actually who helps mentor Jim in becoming like the troll hunter, which is really actually a cool little story. Anyways, yeah, so Barbara is in the book, which is kind of weird for me because I really love Barbara. But anyways, we'll go about that later when I talk about the characters. Anyway, so Jim lives with his overprotective dad instead of his mom, and basically it shows his life. He keeps developing a closer relationship with his father, and basically in the end, I don't want to spoil it anyways, but basically the whole goal is to try to defeat Gunmar and destroy him, which is kind of like the goal in Trollhunters Tales of Arcadia. So basically it's the same storyline, but there are some different twists and different turns. But yeah. I really like the book, but probably the only reason I read it I've read it once and listened to it once. So I'm kind of like Belle over here. I find a book I like and then I read it so many times. Okay, so now we can go over characters. I just decided to do up the list of characters. If they're not present, I'm just saying not present in the show. So let's get started with the main character, Jim. Jim Lake Jr. is pretty much the same. His name is actually not Jim Lake Jr. though. It's actually Jim Sturgis Jr. They changed the last name for some reason. I don't know why they didn't keep it, but no, not my problem. I like Jim Lake better, personally. But I bet if I knew Sturgis first, it probably would have bothered me. But yeah, so Jim's pretty much the same. In the book, however, he's described as the shortest and smallest kid in school. But in the show, he's kind of average, so which I don't know, it's not much of a difference, but it's a difference. And like I said earlier, he doesn't actually have his magical suit of armor like in the show. Instead, he just gets the ability to understand trolls, which is kind of helpful if you're trying to save them and protect your home. Alright, next is Toby. In the show, he's really short and pretty much just a sidekick. In the book, however, he's actually the tallest kid in school and pretty much just a sidekick. So other than the height difference, they're pretty much the same character. Alright, and then we have Claire. Claire Nunez, she's pretty much the same as well, except she's actually Scottish. She came from Scotland, so she has an accent in the book, which is pretty cool. And she's still like Shakespeare. There's still Romeo and Juliet, the play in the book, which was pretty neat. There's some scenes that weren't in the show, but they're replaced with stuff with Jim Lair, which was so beautiful. But I still like the show more. Anyways, so Claire in the book, however, she's Scottish. And she doesn't have any siblings, so Nonriye is actually not present. But Claire, however, she's Scottish, and she's not really super popular. In the show, I feel like she's one of the most popular kids in school. But if you ask Mary, she's the most popular girl in school, and the prettiest of them all. But that's only if you ask Mary. But, anyways, so yeah, so Claire, she's not really the most popular girl in the book, which she could be if she wanted to, but Jim says that she's kind of more the mellow and kind of just the chill girl. Which I love Claire in the book and in the movie. Or show, whatever. Show, movie, same diff, right? It's coming out to be a movie, so technically I'm not wrong, right? So let's keep going through the characters. So now we have Barbara Lake, which I said she's not really present. They kind of just replaced her with Jim Sturgis, which is Jim Sturgis Jr.'s father. That was a mouthful. Anyways, Strickler is not present. Droll is not present. Kendergar is not present. Bular is not present. Gunmar is present, but in the book he's actually red and huge. Like, he's ginormous. Like, it's big enough to take a football field. That's how big he is. And yeah. Blinky is actually present in it, except he does not have 4 arms. He actually has tentacles, which was pretty interesting. I was like, okay, he has tentacles now, which was pretty different. And he's actually blind. But pretty much, other than having tentacles and being blind, he pretty much is the same person, just kind of helping Jim cope with becoming the troll hunter. He's one of the smartest trolls as well. Before he became blind, he wrote a ton of books, which is pretty neat. Also, I think I just now had a theory. Okay, so in season 2, Dictatious, he becomes blind. I wonder if that's just a reference to Blinky being blind in the book. I don't know if that's a thing, but I just thought of that. But that'd be neat if that was. Anyways, continuing on, we have Arg. Arg is present, but in the book, Arg is actually a female troll, and has black fur instead of like the green fur, which is not much of a difference with the fur, but the female and the male part was quite a difference. Other than that, though, they kind of talk the same way. Arg, like both Args, they're basically the same person, except in the book, Arg is a female, and in the show, Arg's a male. So that's pretty much the main differences between the 2 troll hunters. Yeah, but basically, I feel like Trollhunters Tales of Arcadia, the show, has a lot more lore than the book, because in the book, like, there's no, like, Merlin or King Arthur story with that, or, like, aliens for Arcadian 5. Like, it's just mainly troll hunters about Jim and stuff, which is okay. Like, you know, it was good enough story on its own. I mean, it encouraged them to make Trollhunters Tales of Arcadia the movie, but definitely, like, I feel like I love the show much more because it just has more lore into it and more depth into the story, and I feel like you get to know the characters a little bit more. But the book was definitely good. If you like Trollhunters, I definitely recommend that you read it, because there's some parts I'm like, okay, I can kind of see this as Jim, you know, and technically it's all canon if you really want it to be, because, I mean, it's Trollhunters the book. But there's quite a few differences, so I don't know if it really counts. That is pretty much all the differences I found between the Trollhunters. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you like this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Throw in the comments if you ever read Trollhunters. Let me know. I'd be interested to talk to you guys about it. Or if I like left out any of like the differences, make sure to throw in the comments, because mine like runs 1,000 miles per hour. I don't know what's going on half the time. But if I forgot anything, just throw them in the comments below. I'd like to talk about it with y'all. And if you have any questions about Trollhunters or the new Rise of the Titans Trollhunters movie coming out, throw them in the comments. I love going over those with y'all. So, yeah. Okay, guys, I have a huge special announcement. Well, technically, it's not like super huge, but I'm really excited for it. Anyway, so I'm going to go to Comic-Con in August. I'm really excited about it. I've never actually been to Comic-Con before. I went to one once, but I was lame back then, so I didn't like really care about it. I went with my dad and my brother, and we kind of just like walked around, and I was like bored the whole time because I didn't know what's going on. But now, like 5 years ago, like actually like learning what Comic-Con was about and going to cosplay and stuff, and now I'm like so excited for it. So it's my first Comic-Con. We were gonna go like last year, but then COVID happened, so we didn't get to go. But there's actually one open. It's not like the huge one that we have where I live, but it's like still a pretty big one. But so we get to go to that because it's open even with COVID. So I'm very excited about that. And that way you guys feel like you can be kind of a part of this excitement. There's 3 days I'm going. I already have 2 of my cosplays chosen out, because I'm going to go and cosplay. I'm that person. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys vote on the 3rd person I get to be. Now I'm gonna just have some characters you guys can vote between. I'm gonna start the poll maybe in like next week, because I don't know. I can tell you the character I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't know if you ever play that game. It's pretty fun. It's PlayStation exclusive, so you don't have a PlayStation, you can't play it, unfortunately. But if you've played it, it's really fun, and if you haven't, I definitely recommend you do. Anyway, so I'm gonna be Aloy. I'm really excited about that. And then for my 2nd person, I'm gonna be Claire Nunez from Trollhunters, of course. But this is the dilemma I have. So I don't know which Claire to be. Because I'm thinking just the Claire from Trollhunters, but then there's also the Claire from Wizards with the dress. I'm not going to go down the armor path. I've made armor. I made Jim's armor, actually. Some of you might not know this. Here's a photo of me wearing Jim's armor. I'm very embarrassed by this because it came out terrible. It was my first armor set, though, I've ever made. Anyways. So, I'm not going to do the armor Claire. Unfortunately, her armor is beautiful, but I don't know if I'll have enough time. Anyway, so here's my dilemma. So, Rise of Titans Trollhunters comes out July 21st. And if she's in a new, like, she has a new armor or, like, new outfit or something, I'm going to want it to be that. So, I'm trying to push Claire to be the last person to make, just in case. Because if it's something new, I'm going to do that. But if not, then I can just throw together her Trollhunters or her Wizard's outfit. So, what I'm going to do is, in next week, I'm going to start a poll where you guys can start voting. And then in June, I'll announce the winner. And then I'll start working on, or maybe like halfway through June or something like that, I'll announce the winner I'm going to be. And then start working on that, if that makes sense. I don't know. It makes sense up here, but I don't know if I explained it very well. Anyways, I think that would kind of be fun if you guys want to vote on who I get to be, which will be interesting. And I will definitely do a documentary showing me making my cosplays and at the Comic-Con. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. Alright, well, thank you for watching again. Have a great day, guys, and keep it crispy.